with yourself and go buy an Apache fry bread. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I just got word we're about moments away right now with the chief race that'll be coming up. But before we do, I want to remind you once again about Gary Wazer's beautiful, wonderful, even it looks good. It is great fry bread. That's Gary right there in front of you. He comes from out of the Dulce, New Mexico area. He is not Navajo, but his fry bread is better than Navajo. Now I'm on kind of a self-imposed weight restriction deal, but I've already had about 5 pieces of that now Apache style fry bread myself, and it is good. You put a little bit of honey on there, sprinkle some of that powdered sugar on there, and I'll tell you what, there's nothing like it. So make your way behind the grandstand. You got a few moments left, and go and buy yourself a fried bread from Gary Wager out of Dulce, New Mexico. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is Memorial Day. It is a time in which we remember the veterans, the combat soldiers of the armed forces of the United States of America. Many of our people, the people that we know, have all gone to enlist in the United States Armed Forces. And today is a day that we remember the veterans of World War II, the veterans of the Vietnam War, and all the different conflicts. And today we give thanks to those who gave their lives. We give thanks to those who defend this great country. This is the greatest country in all the world. In the history of the world, there is nothing like the United States of America. And today we are very, very proud and honored to have a young man who makes his home in Fort Thompson, South Dakota. He is a member of the Ogallala, the Hunkpapa, the Arapaho, and the Crow Nation. He's an outstanding horseman. He represents the team that make their home in Fort Thompson, South Dakota. His name is Donnie Medicine Horse. And if you all would, ladies and gentlemen, stand up and remove your hat for the rendition of the Lakota style flag song honoring the stars and stripes of the United States of America. Take her away, Donnie. Ladies and gentlemen, the flag song for the Stars and Stripes, the Lakota style. Ladies and gentlemen, Native Americans in this country number a little over 2 million of all the total numbers of the population in this country. But one of the things that we all remember as Native Americans is that this country is the greatest country in the world, and that all able and willing Native Americans have volunteered to serve in this United States Army, the military, the Navy, the Marines, the United States Army, and so forth, the Air Force. And the Native Americans have always been proud of the Stars and Stripes, despite maybe differences in political and religious beliefs. But we still believe that we are Americans and we are ready and determined to defend this beautiful country. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for honoring the Lakota flag song. You may have your seat. Ladies and gentlemen, this afternoon, we are going to have a total of 2 heats of the Indian relay and 2 heats, one of chief championships and the maiden championships. There's a total of 4 races on the Native American side of the program on the Memorial Day weekend of 2024 right here at the Complex Energy Downs in Gillette, Wyoming. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ken Reelbird, and I represent the Apsauliga Nation, and also here for the 3rd year in a row, and I'm very honored that my friends, the Greer family right here in Gillette, Wyoming, who are part of the 307 Racing, have invited me to be here. And I'm very grateful for that. In fact, I try to leave all my money here when I get here to make sure that the economy in Gillette, Wyoming continues to thrive. And I've pretty much, I think, paid for the light bill on the complex itself through losing all the bets. But nevertheless, I loved it. I'm glad to be here. We're going to get underway with our first race of the afternoon as soon as we see the horses making their way down towards the starting line. But at this time, I want to take this opportunity to talk about a family who comes from out of the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, who has a storied background in the world of rodeo racing and horse racing business. This is the Ecafee family. They will be sponsoring the jackets and the satin star quilts that are going to be handed out to the champions of this afternoon's racing. There is also championship buckles that will be awarded to the champions of the chief race, the maiden race, and the Indian relay champions. And so at this time, we are going to be donating all this wonderful stuff, a lot of the work that goes into creating the star quilts and the jackets. It is in memory of Gilbert Leroy Ecafee, an outstanding horseman who followed the family legacy of loving horse racing. He loved being in the barns with his horses who are watching them race. He was well known in the horse racing community and shared his love of horses with his children and grandchildren. When he wasn't with his horses, you can find Gilbert gambling. He enjoyed betting on the horses. We are very fortunate here in Gillette, Wyoming, family who are instrumental in bringing to you 11 teams from throughout the United States and Canada. Them teams represent the various nations of Indigenous Americans in this part of the world. When you look at the Great Plains, from the south of the Gulf of Mexico to the southern boundaries, borders of Canada, there are huge number of acres that go across the continent where many different nations lived. The Lakota, the Arapaho, the Cheyenne, the Cree, the Hidatsa, the Crow Indian, the Blackfeet, the many different warriors, societies of the families that made their way of living on the Great Plains of this country. And now we are set to go probably with the chief race. The chief race this afternoon, as you can see, they're making their way down through the infield. We have 4 of them that's going to be challenging for the championship. We have Frontline. Again, that was Donnie Medicine Horse's team. the young man who sang a beautiful rendition of the Lakota flag song. It's going to be Frontline. Charges Strong is also going to be there. Now, Charges Strong has been a big name in the sport in the last 15 years. They are from the great Crow Nation, and we also have from out of Pine Ridge, South Dakota. We're going to have the Jumping Eagle Express. We're also going to have another team that makes their home in Pine Ridge, South Dakota, representing the Ogallala Sioux Nation, the, the family and the descendants of one of the greatest warriors in the history of the West, Crazy Horse, who was an Ogallala from out of the Pine Ridge. They're going to be here this afternoon. And ladies and gentlemen, yesterday afternoon, in the second heat, we had a young man who was riding for the great team of Dancing Warrior. Had an accident right there in front of us. He lost consciousness momentarily. He got packed off in an ambulance, and he looked like he was hurt pretty bad. And he was hurt pretty bad. But there was no serious injuries. He is going to be back this afternoon to be picking up his riding chores, and that is going to be the young superstar by the name of Caton Brings Plenty. He's going to be back, and he's okay. Now, I was talking earlier about protocol. Even the PBR, which is supposed to be the toughest sport in the world, has what they call a protocol on consciousness, losing consciousness, concussions. But in Native American country, the only protocol we have, if you don't get up by yourself, somebody's going to come and kick you down, so you better get up. And this is what Caton Brings Plenty brings to the table. Way down the track at this time in post position number 1. It is going to be Frontline Relay out of Fort Thompson, South Dakota, with one of the young riders by the name of Daniel Goodfaith. He just gets down, he's jumping back up. That is Daniel Goodfaith, the Frontline Relay, Fort Thompson, South Dakota. And then we got Cassius Hedison in Charges Strong, Jumping Eagle Express with Xavier Pickner. Now, Xavier Pickner is a young man. He's probably around 15, 16 years of age. He's riding that big old rangy looking sorrel. He's in the pink. And Dancing Warrior with Caton Brings Plenty is right there along the rail. Ah, man, I'll tell you, and they're off. It is going to be Frontline with Daniel Goodface, who got the good jump out. Along the rail on the outside of him, just about a neck back, is going to be Jumping Eagle Express. In third, about 3 lengths further back, is going to be Cassius Hedison, representing the Charges Strong. And down the back stretch they go in a gap of about 17 lengths further back is going to be Dancing Warrior. Now taking the lead about midway through the race is going to be Daniel Goodfaith along the rail for Frontline. In second, it's now going to be a battle between Charges Strong and Jumping Eagle Express. Jumping Eagle Express is still second. In third and moving up, trying to take the lead, and he does, coming into second place. It's going to be Cassius Hedison with Charges Strong. And here they come as they hit the top of the turn, top of the stretch. Here comes Charges Strong towards the middle of the track. Along the rail is going to be Frontline. In third is Jumping Eagle Express. Dancing Warrior is the trailer. And down the stretch they come. Charges Strong on the middle of the track. Frontline in second right now, and here they come. It is going to be Charges Strong who wins it all. Cassius Hedison, and it is going to be Frontline in second with Daniel Goodface. In third is going to be Caliber Pickner, little brother Xavier Pickner riding for Jumping Bull Express, and Dancing Warrior is the trailer coming in fourth place. Now that is the chief race